host, and we have Kendra back on. We've talked to you about the album The Fire back in 2019. We talked to you prior to that about your project with Snoop Dogg. So we're glad to have you on again.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Yeah, we're in a different time for musicians, but we're pushing through. We've been doing a lot of interviews, so we're glad to have you back on the show. So, being in New York City, yeah, you're kind of like in a more stressful area. I mean, I live in New Hampshire. I think I've seen you, vacationing here before, so you kind of have an idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little bit more, my family's in pretty good shape. But in New York, how are you guys doing?
Well, New York is, it's a little bit chaotic right now, but at the same time, it's also much emptier and much more peaceful. So that's another side to it all, honestly. And it's kind of nice. So obviously, I've been going out, but always wearing a face covering and everything. And if you avoid people and you just kind of, stay safe, then you can actually get a lot of peace from this phase, from this stressful phase.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard Boston, like Boston's the biggest city next to us, and it's the same kind of scenario. It's become, like
Yeah.
in the financial district, it's kind of a ghost town compared to what it used to be. Um, but I'm going to get into what you've been doing. Since the last time we talked, you actually have your own record label.
Yes, Emerald Sounds.
And your first release, is this your first release, the new song Hustla? Is that the first release on your new label, or have you done something prior to that?
Yes, this is the first one.
So maybe before we get into the song, which comes out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Maybe you can talk to the fans about how you came about Emerald Sounds, why did you pick that name, and what's it all about, and what you're going to be doing in the future.
Yes. So Emerald Sounds, I created it because I wanted to create a platform for artists and help them almost as if it were like a virtual manager, And what I do with the I have the record label, and I also work on artist development services, and I also act as a mediator. So basically, I call it, the three-wish system. If an artist comes to me and they tell me three things that they wish to do, whether it's a collaboration or a place to perform at, or getting in touch with a radio station or a producer to work on their stuff. That's what the company does. They will mediate for them and basically present them in a professional way to the outlet that they're trying to reach, and make it happen, or or get the closest thing for them. For example, if someone says, I want to do a feature with Drake, I might just find them someone, big enough, but not Drake as of right now. But hopefully in the future, that'll expand. And as far as the record label goes, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it all. So basically, I created the record label, which is Emerald Sounds, and the song is also being distributed through Sony Orchard, thanks to a very dear friend of mine. And yeah, so Emerald Sounds, the name of it is because I was looking for a name that would kind of like mirror what I'm trying to like portray with like the branding of it, and just like the weight, the leverage I want to give to the company. So emeralds are one of my favorite stone, and I just love diamonds and all that. So I felt like it would add a precious vibe to the company, and a cool color, because the color scheme is black and gold, but also green and gold, which are colors that I love.
That's interesting, because a lot of artists are going indie, but as an indie artist myself, I did I actually looked into becoming more in control. So now I've actually worked out something with SoundCloud. So now I'm actually running my own expansive sound label through SoundCloud.
Nice.
So it's just a lot of artists today want to have more control over what they're doing, or be able to work with people, and make sure that their splits and their royalties, and they can get booked, and they can actually get the artist support. Because I think when a lot of artists go indie, they kind of lose that label support
Yeah.
that and being able to have the A&R or somebody that can open the door for you. And it's hard to be an artist and work on your art and also be a manager or a business
Yeah,
manager.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So I think that's cool. I think that you're going to provide people with that kind of service. That's good.
yeah, because me being independent, I always felt like it was something that was holding me back. But then I made it so far as an independent artist that I was just like, wait a minute. At this point of my career, for example, I'm obviously not where I want to be. I want to be even higher because I'm just like that. But I
Yeah.
was like, I came so far, and at this point, it wouldn't even make sense for me to have a manager because of everything that that I'm surrounding myself with, and my team and the people I'm working with. I started working with this organization called the Movers as well, and they are super helpful and a super good community to be in. So, long story short, when I created the company, I wanted to help independent artists achieve. A status where their bookings are no longer a problem, and just like all these services are no longer something unattainable for them, even if they don't have a record label or a manager, because the company basically, I want to be selective with who I work with, but at the same time, I want to offer those opportunities to artists so that this disparity can end, and hopefully they can see it as a trusted platform to turn to when they have any question, any service that they would like done, because this industry is also full of people that will try to screw you over, which
Oh
we've
yeah.
also talked about in the past. So at least like
Yeah.
that, it's safe. It's a company and they know what they're going to find.
So prior to this whole Corona, situation, I think the biggest thing I've talked to I've been doubling down on podcasts. I've been interviewing people from all over the world in the last 3 months. And the biggest, pain for a lot of artists is all the bookings they had are all canceled.
Yes.
So, and so I see you're doing an online concert
Yeah.
tomorrow. The VBT Live presents
Mm-hmm.
Kendra Black Hustle single release, and you're doing a DJ set, and that's cool. And that's where a lot of artists are doing. So, are you changing your business model because of what the bookings are now? So many venues are closed. So many festivals got postponed. Is it actually? Does it make economic sense to do live shows on the net, or are people going to have to wait to go back on the road to really be able to be out there?
So there's two aspects of it. If we're talking exposure aspect, then I definitely recommend going live. And also, once all this is over, hopefully soon, I'm going to continue doing all these live opportunities that I've been doing and live streams. But as far as economically goes, it's a little bit different because obviously it's there. People,
Yeah.
there's no ticket to watch it. Obviously, people can. In some cases, artists have been putting their Venmo and are saying, donate if you like what you see. I haven't been doing that just because it just doesn't seem right to me. But by all
Yeah, it's kind of
means,
hard. Yeah, in this
yeah,
time.
it's just a little weird. But by all means, I give all my, I look up to all the artists that are doing that because some of them are also, making money off it. And that's great. That's the whole point. I do believe that for every live performance, there should be compensation. So it's hard, it's,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, there are some companies that have actually set up through Facebook the ability to set up paid tickets, and
Mm,
I looked into it that you can actually set up like ticket system,
yeah.
but you got to get to a point where somebody feels like, well, I could watch a couple of your Twitch shows and I didn't have to pay for it. I could go back onto your YouTube. It's like, why am I going to pay for it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the proposition of trying to get, would somebody be willing to pay for it? There's a certain timing involved, and if you've got a single that's really kicking, maybe you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because like even SoundCloud and Spotify have decided to link donate buttons, and people can put their Cash App or their PayPal Me
Yeah.
on it. And I've seen a lot of artists doing that kind of need the help. But yeah, it's kind of wherever you are. There's a lot of artists, they make their money from shows. I've talked to tons of bands, like, bands that are like, rock bands. And the way they make their money is they go in a van and they tour the US or they tour Europe, and they do the work.
Yeah.
They're working bands, and they're kind of trying to figure out, well, how do they navigate this time? But you do what you can. You do sync licensing, you do merchandising, you do influence marketing. I've seen you've done that before. And you probably, are you still doing a lot of influence like marketing, working with brands?
Yeah, most definitely. And also, what I'm starting to do on my website is on the company website, especially, is I'm starting to distribute other brands as well under my brand, which is basically under Emerald, because my clothing line. I think I was telling you on the last.
Yeah,
Yes, so I wanted.
yeah. You talked about that last time. You said you had a clothing line. How well did you do with that? Are you still doing good with that?
Oh, okay. So I guess we haven't talked about this. Okay, so basically, my clothing line is no longer just the Kendra Black Sportswear. It's just a clothing line that is just basically more general, and then my Kendra Black line is in there. But I created a whole other portal for the clothing line to just make it its own thing.
Own thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so you did really well with it then. You were able to diversify it.
Yes, and I'm distributing other brands as well and having more clothing added to it. It's just hard right now because of everything that's going on, but
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
growing just like everything else.
That's cool. So, and now I'm gonna get to your new single. Okay, last time we talked about your album, The Fire, and how you had this kind of this kind of convergence between pop and EDM. It was a pop EDM or EDM pop
Mm-hmm.
album, and so now you have a new single and you have a feature from Spice One. So maybe talk about how you did this. When did you record it, and maybe talk about Spice One's role in it and your feelings about like the song, because I've heard snippets of it, but it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. So the track is very cool because the instrumental has so many layers to it, and it's basically a mix between electronic music, rap, hip hop. It's really cool, and Spice just killed it. Like his verse, I love it. I just really love it. And basically, the way that happened is similarly to the song with Snoop. We, my team and I finalized the song with just me on it, and then I decided I wanted a rapper on it, and just through the people I work with, resume artists, and all these partners I surround myself with, we basically found Spice One, who is also a good friend of Snoop Dogg, and it all came together.
Oh, cool. So through the relationship with Snoop Dogg, you're able to find Spice One. Is he from like California or is he from
No,
New
no,
York?
from New York. So it wasn't directly from Snoop Dogg, but because he was linked to him, it was so much easier.
All right, cool. So you were able to use that relationship, that partnership you had before.
Yeah,
So that's
like
interesting.
I'm lucky enough to be surrounded from by a lot of people that have very different roles in the music industry that bring different how can I say it that bring different things to my team
Yeah.
and like what I do. So it's awesome because many times then things will just come together naturally, and we'll all like find the best thing for like the next release or a feature or anything like that.
So it's interesting. Like you still are bringing the EDM sound from the Fire. I guess you're continuing to like evolve. Keep on going in that direction
Yeah.
but mixing it, going back to what you did with like on your Dangerous. When you did the songs with Snoop Dogg, Rude. So you're kind of doing like an evolution of all the things you've done, and kind of, is that what you're doing? You're just taking what you've done before and kind of building on it.
Oh, yes and no, because a lot of things changed about how I perform and about my music. For example, I now perform on the DJ set and I sing while I DJ. So that's different. And also my sound of like my next releases that are gonna come after this one, after Hustla, are gonna be strictly electronic. So I'm trying to do a little bit of both. Hip hop sound is something I love and that I'll never lose, but um, the and the pop sound as well. But electronic music is most definitely where I'm heading to as of right now.
Wow. So you really doubled down. So you actually, when did you start getting into CDJs, and what kind of rig do you have? When did you start, refining that and becoming like that type of performer too?
Well, let's see. I've been DJing since, like, I want to say October, not very long, but I picked it up so fast. I currently DJ on a tractor set, and yeah, I mean, luckily it's something that I can do from home, so I can do live streams with it and everything. And yeah, it just really came naturally. I picked it up really fast. If you want to watch any of my past DJ performances, there's some live streams on my page, Kendra Black. And also last night, for example, I did a cool set at an open mic where I was following the same setup, DJ set with vocals, and it was great. And yeah, people can find all that on my page, and there's more coming as well.
So when you do your DJ set, do you primarily kind of remix your own music or kind of merge it with other genres and other
Oh
music?
no, yeah, I include both my original songs and covers that I like in the music that I mix with, and also in the music that I sing while I'm mixing. So, for example, I'll have so last night at the open mic, I opened with my song "Hustla" to kind of introduce it, and then I mixed it with another song by I think it was by SX. And
Cool.
then I just kept going from there. And then at one point, I mixed in another song, and then I started singing on it, on the instrumental of it. So I like to combine everything.
I think that's a really interesting thing. I've seen a lot of new DJs do this kind of hybrid thing where they're not just a DJ, they're a
Yeah,
musician. So you have DJ that's like a drummer,
basically, yeah. I've
you know,
seen that before.
and they'll
Yeah,
have
DJs
like
that start
have
drumming on
some
the
like
yeah,
yeah, they'll have some Roland electronic drums
yeah,
around them, and then drum with the CDJ, and then sing with it, or use a vocoder, or have like a trumpet player or a saxophone player. I see this new hybrid for performance purposes. It's kind of cool to have somebody that's a singer or somebody that's like another type of musician, and not just a straight like EDM set, but also the elements of a singer
yes.
or of a band. I think I see more and more. I was talking to a band in
Hmm.
Berlin, and there was a lot of
Oh
that
yeah,
going on in Berlin, in the Netherlands, and Norway. There's a lot of new hybrid, setups. They're mixing between EDM and rock, EDM and hip hop, EDM and punk.
yeah.
It's kind of like wide open. So it's interesting that you've kind of go in that direction where you're bringing your vocals and then taking the DJ art to it, which is very
Yeah, and
interesting.
also it's I have to say it's not that easy to be mixing with some tracks and then out of the blue start singing over one of them while the other one is still being mixed into it. It's like
Yeah, it's kind of like a guitar player that's a lead singer. It's hard to do that. Because you're usually vocalist. You get the Robert Plants, you get the Whitney Houston's, Mariah Carey's. I'm just going to be a vocalist. But if you're a musician, adding the vocals, and you're a bass player or a guitar player or you're a drummer, you'll look at like the Eagles, Don Henley. Playing those drums and singing Hotel California. That is a very hard thing
yeah,
to do.
yeah,
And I would think being a DJ, that's a lot of things to kind of juggle, and then still keep the vocal at the vocalist, level, and then still be you're getting into the point where I think that's very entertaining. I find that very
yeah.
intriguing because I've always been a kind of person that likes to see a band
Hmm.
play, and when you bring that element of being a DJ as a musician, and then you're singing, that kind of makes it more
Yeah,
appealing, to see that kind of show.
definitely. And it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're going that direction. That's
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, I actually accepted your invitation. I'll be watching your set
Awesome.
tomorrow.
Yes, definitely let me know what you think.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been I do Twitch and I do Facebook Live. I've been doing it for years, but yeah, more and more people are doing it, and it's kind of like the way we're living today. But it's just awesome to see what musicians are
Yeah.
coming up with in this time. There's a lot of people trying to, I talked to some person that was trying to double down on becoming like a recording engineer so they could kind of produce their own
Yeah.
stuff. I've seen like guitar players like, well, I'm going to learn bass, and bass players learn piano, and people wanting to play drums. They well, now I got that opportunity. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to learn the drums.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people doing like self improvement or tighten up their craft. So in that way, I mean, you've been like taking this time to tighten up your craft. I had a lot of bands I've talked to because they can't go on the road. They're doubling down on writing songs. They're writing lots of new
Yeah.
material. So what's your approach? Are you doing that or finding other things to do?
I'm just focusing on performing and just perfecting my sets basically. So, and obviously my voice as well, so that when I get behind the DJ console and I start a set, whether it's a live stream or then in the future when this will be done and I can actually perform live again, it could be tight. I can mix with because
Yeah,
sometimes I'll be mixing with 4 tracks going on at the same time, and I'm singing over one instrumental out of the 4, and the other ones are song that I'm mixing and bringing in at different times. So it's that
yeah,
itself like is something that you can
yeah.
just
That's the talent.
spend
Well,
hours
it's like
practicing
I
that.
said, yeah, that's like the Don Henley thing. Trying to be a drummer or trying to sing and play guitar or play keyboard. It's
Hmm.
hard. It's harder than just. It's hard enough to be a vocalist, and I have a lot of respect, and that's a musical instrument. But once you add another instrument or production stuff that you're doing, like what the DJs do, I've taken my hand at modular synthesis, which is some like being a DJ. I've got all
Uh-huh.
these modes and things, and everything's a dial, everything's a control
Yes, and
surface.
also
And then if you're, yeah, I mean, it's hard to do that and sing it at the same
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah. But other things that I'm also doing are I'm writing a book with writer Thornton Klein, and we just started it, so it's going to be a while before we can actually present it.
Is it a
Mhm.
fictional novel or like more? Is it nonfiction or fiction?
It's interesting. It's based on true facts, but it's spiced up a little bit.
Oh, so it's semi fictional.
Yeah, although the direction
So
might change and it might become totally fictional or it might become something very like real. So we'll see. And then aside from
that's
that,
cool.
I'm also working on the soundtrack for a friend's TV production. Is something that she wants to pitch to Netflix. She's back in Italy, but she was looking for an English soundtrack. So I am in the process of making that happen. And then
Is that gonna be just instrumental or
no,
your
no,
voice
a
too?
song in English. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
So the it's gonna be like the theme
Yeah,
song
yeah, yeah,
for the show.
basically. And aside from that, I'm also working with someone else from Italy as well, which same thing, I mean, similar thing. He needed vocals for one of his productions. He makes beautiful sounds of it's like a very light, very zen sound. I'm trying to like compare it to someone. I mean, I guess the closest thing I can think of right now is the Emancipator. I don't know if you know that artist,
Hmm.
and that's what this Italian producer's music sounds like. And he was looking for a very like
Oh
airy
wow.
vocals on it. So I'm working on that as well, and I think that's it for the moment. But yeah, I'm definitely working on many different things.
So you're busy. You're definitely busy. You've learned a new skill set as a DJ. You're doing soundtracks. You're doing your influence marketing. Yeah. So you've got like a lot of things that people could learn from. In this time you're
Yeah,
keeping
thank you.
busy. That's it's awesome because I've been doing this job as a podcaster. I'm a musician,
Hmm.
myself, but we've been able to grow in from the first time I was talking to you. Now we're at like 23,000
That's
listeners
awesome.
worldwide, and we're part of Spotify. We're actually Anchor is part of Spotify now, and it's cool, that we get paid for our listens. So when people listen to our program, we actually get
As it
revenue.
should
But
be. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we've been able to make our mark, and we're actually talking to booking agencies that want to book us for some
Nice.
internet stuff, and then some real stuff in the future. So when you get into your DJing, are you thinking of going on the DJ like circuit internationally? Would you be interested in doing that international DJ
Yeah.
performance
No,
type of
yeah, definitely.
festival oriented like like EDM DJing sets that you go to
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona, you can go to, Italy and London, and Germany. They're everywhere. These big, there's a
Yeah,
whole circuit
so
for that.
I love raves just to to go and attend. So I that's also part of why I got into DJing, and I love it so much because I would love to perform at a rave. I was like, wait a minute, if I love going to raves, maybe even a little more than I love going to concerts, then why not? Why don't I just do that? So yeah, and actually, I do have a show planned for. I did have a show planned for Italy this summer. We'll see if I can go and actually do it and perform and DJ. We'll see what the flight situation is,
Yeah,
and yeah.
yeah, they were really hit pretty hard. So I mean, did you have any friends? I know you've had a relationship and you work in Italy a lot. They were hit pretty hard in
Yeah,
this
and my whole
pandemic.
family is there as well. That's where they are. And
So
yeah,
everybody's
everyone's
okay.
okay, but the situation is a bit crazy. But luckily, everyone I know, everyone that is either my family or my friends, they're all fine. So yeah, that's good.
That's good. I was thinking of you when I heard about it because it was pretty bad. What the
Yeah.
news was reporting. And in New York, you're like in two places in the world that are kind of known right now for being like in the center of this whole crisis. But that's interesting that you were able to not get affected as heavy as some people did. Um, so going forward with the music industry, I've been asking people because of Corona, are they
Hmm.
changing their strategies? But you already have a bunch of strategies that seem to make you able to work through this compared to some of the acts I've talked to that were, totally kind of dependent on doing
Yes.
live shows. A lot of musicians, they're so dependent on that, and when this hit, they didn't really have a fallback.
Hmm.
So it's interesting you were diversified enough to
Yeah,
have
it's so
other things to
important to
do.
just, go with the flow of what's going on around you, especially if you're an artist, like, because, when things happen in the world, like the coronavirus, they happen for everyone. Just like, everyone lost shows. I was supposed to perform, I was supposed to have my best lineup of shows this summer. Miami Ultra Fest, South Padre Island in
Mm-hmm.
Texas. Um,
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good. You had some good
and
ones lined up.
also Michigan, Italy, New York, of course, and just like So after all this was canceled, initially I was mad, okay, and then I realized that I had to look at it a different way, and I was no longer mad because this was happening. This has happened for everyone, so let's just go. Let's just roll with the punches. Like right now, everyone is doing live streams, so that means that I'm doing live streams as well. And so we're all doing the same thing. We're all in the same boat. So it's important to not um, to not be married to what you do in such a way where you can't evolve. That's something that I've seen in the music industry. And sometimes, I felt that way. Like, no, I got to do this way. And it's just like, no, not necessarily. If we listen as artists to what's going on around us, that's how we make moves. Because also, as the time change, also the music changes, and as the music changes, the time change. So it's yeah, just gotta go with the flow.
Well, I was reading that in this time, people. I read this article. It said that a lot of music fans are actually tuning into
Yeah.
bands they never heard before, and that's kind of positive if you're in the
Hmm.
indie kind of world. That you're not in. You haven't hit the super big time. That it's given a lot of opportunity for the bands that are kind of on the precipice or
Yeah.
have been working to finally
Yeah.
getting audiences to pay attention. I think that's an opportunity as an independent musician to look at and say, hey, I should, maybe I shouldn't just stream Netflix all day. Maybe I should like hone my craft and start working
Yeah.
on some new material, so I can get out there and still engage with my fans. I've seen people do podcasts where, okay, well, maybe I can't do my full show, but I'll do
Hmm.
something about cooking, or I'll do
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
about gardening. I'll just engage with my fans so they see I'm a human being, and then that keeps them like they get engaged. They still look at your catalog. They maybe find out about you because you're doing something else. And I've seen people. It's like, wow, yeah, that's a different strategy. You don't have to always just do one thing. You can show your fans like a
Yeah,
multifaceted
absolutely. I
self.
agree with that. And it's so important because then it's it just becomes who you are, and it's beautiful. You just add layers to who you are, to your artistry.
So I'm glad that I was able to connect with you. We're going to push this out. I'm going to attend your live stream tomorrow, and the links for the pre-save and all those things we can actually have on this program. So we're going to put this out
Awesome.
within the next hour, and we're on 11 platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Radio Public, Overcast, Google Play, many more. So we're getting a bigger reach than we've ever had, and we're hoping everybody will listen and tune in tomorrow to your Facebook. It's at what is that? It starts at 9.
Yes,
Is
at
that
9
right?
p.m. Eastern Central Time. Eastern Central Time, and yes, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have the link. Yeah, we have the link, and we have the pre-save to your new single, and we hope everybody goes back and listens to our previous episodes on this on our platform, because you'll be able to find them, because we've talked to you before, and people should pick up the fire and pick up
Awesome.
your new single as well. So we let everybody know that you're out there, and if people need to contact you, I mean, how are you just picking people for your label through your own means, or are you doing open calls? How do people? You don't want just people coming to your website and just
Well,
doing
there's
unsolicited. So
basically,
how is
as
it
for the
working?
company and the label, obviously I want people to contact me. There's a contact section in the website emeraldsounds.com where they can put their information and anything that they would like to achieve, the reason why they're reaching out and what their wishes are. Or they can contact me by email at info@emeraldsounds.com. And and I'm setting up a portal on the website where people are going to be able to create their own profile and log in every time and have their stuff all in one place. As well as for the clothing line, they can now have their own profile and see their orders and everything. Everything is is under Emerald now, and it's making it a lot easier for people to be a part of it, really. And I'm really excited.
That's cool. It's good that you're getting all that
Yeah.
organized in like single point
And obviously, if they want to know
contact.
more
That's
about
great.
like my
So
tours and my music and all that, it's still KendraBlackMusic.com. I will always be Kendra Black Music, but now there's an addition of Emerald Sounds.
yeah. So we've got your KendraBlackMusic.com, we've got your EmeraldSounds.com, and we've got your Facebook Live link. So everybody check out the links on this podcast, which will be out within the next hour. And we wish you very good success. And we're going to watch you tomorrow, and we'll hope to talk to you again when you have additional projects
Thank you.
in this year or next. We'll talk to you later. Thank you very much for being on the show. This is Kendra Black. Everybody go out and listen to her on all the platforms you can. Check out her website and check out emeraldsounds.com.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.